Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I had a bunch of stuff I had to carry the other day. It was one of those really frustrating times where you load up your arms. You think I can do this in one trip instead of two by just brute force. I'm just gonna haul this stuff in there and I'm gonna get it done. So I loaded up my arms and it all started falling apart when I bumped into a corner of the door I was going into. And that caused everything to shuffle. And as I tried to react instantaneously to the shuffle of everything, one item fell, which caused another item to fall, which caused and on and on and on. And yeah, I dropped almost everything. And I thought, how ridiculous that I had another option in front of me, namely make two trips. And instead of doing the smart thing, I just tried to muscle through the burden of getting it done my own way. And to me, that's a picture image that comes back into my brain constantly, and it's in my brain today. So it's one I want to share with you because it reminds me today of Matthew, the 11th chapter. And in Matthew, the 11th chapter, starting at the 28th verse, Jesus said something to his followers that was an incredible opportunity. Jesus says to his followers, "Come to me." So this is Jesus talking. It's not like he said to his apostles, "Come follow me." It was, "Come to me. Come to me, all of you who are working hard, who labor and are heavy laden," which means you're carrying a heavy load. So everybody who's trying to muscle it out in this life, everybody who's got a heavy load, weariness, fatigue, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everybody with a heavy load to carry, where you feel like that picture of Atlas with the world on his shoulders, or Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill. You just feel like everything is, the weight of the world is measuring on you in some way or another. You're worried. You're anxious. You're bothered. You can't seem to find a way out. Jesus says, "Come to me, people like that, you who are labor, you who are heavy laden." And he says, "Take my yoke. Take what I've got for your shoulders." You know, we lose this not being in an agrarian society, but think about the ox that would have a yoke around his shoulders, and that yoke would allow the farmer to, as the ox goes, have the plow pulled through the field. And that can be pretty heavy at times, but Jesus says, you take the yoke, you walk through this life and do your chores with what I can put on your shoulders. My yoke, learn from me. I'm meek and lowly in heart, and my yoke is easy and my burden is light, and you'll find rest for your souls. So Jesus gives you a choice here. He says, you can try to muscle through this world, or you can come to him and take his yoke. I'll talk about what that is in a minute, but you can take his yoke and you can find rest in the midst of all of the burdens you're doing right now, all the work you're carrying, all the heavy load that you've got, the weariness and the fear and the anxiety, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Now, finding rest for your souls is a passage back in the Old Testament prophet of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 6:16 is what Jesus is referencing. That's where God said, hey, sit here and figure out what's going on and figure out what you can do. And if you can figure that out and do the right thing and walk the right way and follow God, you'll find rest for your souls. There's an element of this to us. Jesus says, come to me. There is a place of rest, but it's not in the world and it's not the way you're normally going to walk. It's the yoke of Jesus. Well, what's the yoke of Jesus? It's knowing that he's the source of wisdom and understanding. He's got plans. He's got care and devotion and unconditional love for you and me. And so when we entrust ourselves to his care, to his unconditional love, to his plans, and we make his plans our plans, then we can walk with a light yoke because we know he's in charge of getting us there and he's in charge of the outcome. And hey, if Jesus is in charge of the outcome and he's going to help get me there, I'm okay with that. I can smile and I can set my load down. So I'll close this with what Paul told the Philippians. He said, don't you worry about anything at all, but in everything, praying to God and asking him, but also thanking him. Prayer in supplication with thanksgiving is the way it's translated often. Tell God what you're worried about and let his peace wash over you because he's the God who is there and his yoke is light. That's your video thought for the day. I'll see you tomorrow.